So when I was shopping for a used car for my wife, we were actually in fact looking at some Lexus cars like this. We ended up in a Mercedes, but we did have to ask the question, why aren't used Lexus cars cheap? Let's get into it now. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Mark with exoticcarplayplace. So there's no question, Lexus makes a whole host of super reliable vehicles, but it's more complex than just being reliable. There's a lot of other things that go into why Lexus cars seem to hold their value better than almost every other luxury car on the market. So first, let's give you a few examples. Right here we have a Lexus RC300. Beautiful vehicle. It's got the F Sport package on it. Wonderful brushed metal. Brings out the class in this car. They're absolutely beautiful vehicles. Again, we say we've got F Sport and it's all-wheel drive, so it's easy to live with as well. Beautiful styling throughout. Look at those sharp taillights. It's a beautiful coupe overall. Other nice touches like the beautiful door handles. Interior that is really second to none in terms of quality. And these vehicles here, the RC models, hold approximately 58% of their original value in 3 years. That's right, this is the top holding Lexus car and pretty much top holding luxury car on the market today. Then we have another beautiful vehicle right here. This is the Lexus ES, and these have about 288 horsepower, are a really good mid-size vehicle and easy to live with for many families, or even entry-level executives will drive these cars too. The interior exudes class and style. As we pan around this car, beautiful. You've got the dual exhaust tips on there. They look very classy. Again, the nice taillight theme consistent for Lexus. And this one's the ES350, so we know what that's about with the V6. Circle around, it has a sunroof and the trademark Lexus grille. Now those are somewhat controversial, but again, Lexus reliability is stamped all over these cars. Now the ES here actually holds its value to the tune of about 49% in 3 years. In other words, it's still holding about half of its value after 3 years or after a good run of a lease term or even a possible finance. You want another great choice? How about the Lexus IS? Here the IS series actually holds about 47% of its original value, and this qualifies as their compact luxury sedan. Obviously appeals more to the younger market, and it'll hold its value quite sturdily. There's no question that this car isn't a decent investment. I mean, you've got lots of great styling touches. You've got these vents on the front, looks very aggressive. Nice alloy wheels, nice touches. Look at the mirror, wonderful. The interior isn't quite as dressed up as the ES or the LS, but it does a decent enough job. It is the compact version. Again, we have the F Sport here, the IS300, which is decent, and the 350, which is the one I would recommend. Don't go for the 250, it's a bit of a dog. You've got the nice touches on the exhaust tips. Overall, a beautiful package. And right behind me here is a car that's one of my favorites in the Lexus world, and it's the GS 350. Now, unfortunately, they stopped making the GS model, but as an example of a car that holds its value very well, this brings a little more sporty attitude to the world of Lexus. Obviously, a lot of their cars are a little more geared towards dependability and being conservative, but this car here is a little bit more geared up for the performance. And as we circle around, we can see that. I mean, we've got the alloy wheels, sure, that's pretty typical. F Sport, great taillights. And this one actually has a little wing on it, which kind of suggests it's slightly sporting intentions above some of the other models. For example, like the ES. Again, there's the all-wheel drive GS350, and it has the dual pipes. Super reliable, fun, and it'll hold its value to the tune of about 43% after 3 years. So what do you suppose the trend is here? The trend is that these cars hold their value very well. Now, that's a great thing for the new buyer, the buyer who's going to buy it new, flip it after 3, 4, 5 years. They know they're going to hold on to a good chunk of their original investment. Now, while they don't get all of their money back, obviously you're only holding about half after 3 years, or you're only holding about maybe a third of the value after 5 years, it's still got a significant value left in there. And that's quite honestly why, when I was shopping with my wife, we ended up going with a Mercedes, a slightly used one. But there's a lot of redeeming factors why these Lexus cars hold their value so well, or why they don't devalue as much as, say, a Mercedes or a BMW or an Audi. So let's start with the good old-fashioned reliability conversation. Reliability is second to none with Lexus. Always, in the last couple of years, Lexus and Genesis have been toggling back and forth, but at the end of the day, Lexus is always either at the top or second from the top. They're always premier. Why? Well, they're brother to Toyota, and Toyota, there's a lot of things that go into why these cars are so reliability. One of them being is pride. Pride of ownership, pride of construction, and pride of design and follow through. But there's a lot of factors, and sure, Lexus aren't perfect either. No car is. Every car will break. And there's even a few recalls outstanding that you guys are probably familiar with. For example, the recent one with the fuel pump recalls on a whole mass variety of cars in the Lexus world. How about a few cars that had those flawed engine blocks that would leak oil or antifreeze, or the sudden acceleration issue, or the knee bolster airbags, or the ABS actuator O-rings that leak. So there's been a few things along the way, but generally speaking, if you were a betting man, Lexus would be the one you'd want to bet on all day long. It's a 2-to-1 bet. So how is it Lexus does such a better job at reliability than most other luxury brands? Well, number one is the attention to detail. They do sweat the small stuff, the little details. Don't overlook that wiring harness. Don't overlook the way you've routed that cabling. Don't overlook the torque connection on that one fitting. They take care of all of those little bits and pieces. Another thing is they make sure they have very intensive training for all their staff. And you only move up and graduate to the next level once you've established so many hours that they've mastered the one that they've been working on. It's sort of an apprenticeship, if you will. Another factor of their reliability success is the fact that they make more quick and more responsive changes to faults or issues. They take that feedback from the dealer networks and pump that up to management and ultimately try to make a change as quick as possible, trying to reduce any kind of long-standing issues. They also get involved in very, very thorough and rigorous testing. That's right, they do dry testing in-house first of all the engines. They run them and they move them through their paces in the factory first. They make sure everything's working properly, everything's tight, taut, no leaks, and then they install them in the vehicle, and then they do a test run on the street. But it's not just about reliability. There's a lot of other factors. There's reputation. They've been around a long time, and Toyota and Lexus have gained that reputation over longevity, that they build a reliable vehicle, and they build a vehicle that's worth owning over years. Many of their vehicles are also very economical. Another key component to this is their vehicles are very, very well made. Who doesn't want to drive a vehicle that holds up very well after many years? I noticed that. I took many Lexus cars out for test drives throughout the years, and that's one thing that I found. Maybe they're not quite as dressed up as the latest Range Rover, but the quality is consistent, it's tight, it's taut, and it's very reliable and consistent. It's also not going to have buttons and pieces that are going to break off in your hands. So the quality and the fit and finish is really top shelf. There's no doubt about it. Yet another reason why they hold their value is for the simple fact that they're very economical. Lexus doesn't dabble in twin turbo V8s or V12 engines. They're all about economical driving. So a lot of their vehicles are 4 cylinders or coupled to hybrid electric motors, or even V6 engines that are coupled to hybrid electric motors. Their overall intent is to minimize the cost out of your wallet. Sure, there's some additional cost to drive a Lexus over a Toyota. That's just part and parcel to having the Lexus upscale brand key fob in your pocket. But overall, you're not going to have a vehicle that is going to break the bank. Even when things do start to wear out and break, they're not going to be outrageous prices to repair these Lexus vehicles. So another reason these vehicles tend to hold their value, and they tend to keep a steeper price tag on the used car market, unlike some of the BMW, Mercedes, and Audi rivals, or Jaguar rivals, any of those cars, is simply for the fact that a lot of people know that it's not a death sentence owning one of these outside of warranty, because as soon as the vehicle becomes 3, 4, 5 years old and you run out of warranty, you do realize some of those big repairs can possibly take a serious dent out of your wallet. But being that Lexus is based on a Toyota with a slight premium added on, it's not necessarily going to break the bank. So lo and behold, there we have Lexus. While they may not have the flash and pizzazz of a Range Rover, Jaguar, or Mercedes, BMW, they are in fact most likely to be the car that you may want to recommend to your in-laws, to your parents, maybe people close to you that you know that don't want to be bothered with a lot of problems. I mean, the Mercedes and the BMWs are awesome cars, but they do come with a condition, especially when buying them used. You have to have a much higher risk tolerance. And the beauty is with Lexus, your risk tolerance can be very, very low because you will experience much more trouble-free driving with a Lexus. And lo and behold, that's what holds their value the best. But with that said, if you want to learn more about why BMWs are so cheap on the used car market, be sure to click on that video. You're going to like it. It's really going to help you if you've been looking at a few different brands. Hope to see you soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.